How well do you know the Bible? Welcome back to our Daily Prayers Pinnacle channel. Our goal is to spread the words of the Lord through providing summaries of the Bible chapters from Genesis to Revelation and an interesting Bible trivia quiz. This channel is designed to give you a good overview of all the Bible verses and to help you strengthen your faith in God, especially for people who don't have enough time to finish reading the Bible. The three major reasons why you should subscribe to this channel are: 1. To gain the overview of all the Bible verses from Genesis to Revelation, 2. To test your knowledge of the Bible, and 3. To gain wisdom and knowledge that will strengthen your faith in God. If these interest you, kindly hit that subscribe button. Let's get started. The Book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 to 31 is the creation story in the Bible. It tells the story of how God created the heavens and the earth and everything in them in 6 days. It's a beautiful and inspiring story that teaches us about God's power, wisdom and love. The story begins with God creating the heavens and the earth. The earth is described as being without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. God then separates the light from the darkness and calls the light day and the darkness night. On the second day, God created the sky and separated the waters above the sky from the waters below the sky. On the third day, God gathered the waters below the sky into one place and called the dry land earth, and the waters seas. God then created all kinds of plants on the earth. On the fourth day, God created the sun, the moon, and the stars to give light to the earth and to mark the passage of days, months, and years. On the fifth day, God created all kinds of fish and birds to fill the seas and the skies. On the sixth day, God created all kinds of land animals, including livestock, wild animals, and crawling creatures, and specially, God created man and woman in his own image. God saw that all that he has created were good, and he blessed it. He then rested on the seventh day. Genesis chapter 2, verse 1 to 25 provides a more detailed account of the creation of man and woman called Adam and Eve than Genesis chapter 1. It also introduces the themes of creation, work, rest, marriage, and relationship. God created man from the dust of the ground and placed him in the Garden of Eden, a paradise filled with all kinds of fruit trees and beautiful plants. God commanded man to work the garden and to take care of it. He also commanded man to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God saw that man was alone and decided to make a helper for him. He puts man into a deep sleep and took out one of his ribs to create woman. When man woke up and saw woman, he was overjoyed. Man and woman were united in marriage, and they become one. God blessed man and woman and commanded them to be fruitful and multiply. He also told them to fill the earth and subdue it. This chapter went on to tell us the story of the fall of humanity, when Adam and Eve disobeyed God and ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The main themes of Genesis chapter 2, verse 1 to 25 are: 1. Creation. God is the creator of all things, including humans. Humans are created in God's image, which means that they have the capacity to love, create, and reason. 2. Work. Work is a gift from God. It is a way for us to participate in God's creation and to care for the earth. 3. Rest. Rest is important. It is a time to refresh our bodies and minds and to reconnect with God. 4. Marriage. Marriage is a sacred union between a man and a woman. It is a reflection of God's relationship with his people. And 5. Relationship. Humans are created to be in relationship with God and with each other. God desires to have a close relationship with us, and he has created us to live in community with one another. Genesis chapter 3, verse 1 to 24 tells the story of the fall of humanity. The first act of disobedience to God. The serpent tempts Eve to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, promising that she will be like God. She eats from the tree and gives some of the fruit to Adam, who also ate. After eating from the tree, Adam and Eve realized that they were naked and ashamed. They tried to hide from God, but He confronted them. They blamed each other, but God held them both accountable. He punished them for their disobedience and told them that sin will have consequences for them and for their descendants. God cursed and drove them out of the Garden of Eden. However, God promised that one day a descendant of Eve would crush the head of the serpent Satan and bring redemption to humanity, which eventually happened through Jesus Christ the Savior. The story of the fall of humanity is a tragic story, but it is also a story of hope. Even though Adam and Eve have sinned, God did not abandon them. He promised that He will send a Redeemer who will one day defeat sin and death. The main themes of Genesis chapter 3, verse 1 to 24 are: 1. Sin and disobedience have consequences. 2. God is just, but He is also merciful and loving. 3. We are all susceptible to sin, but we are also called to choose good over evil. 4. The devil is always tempting us to sin, but we can resist his temptations. 5. Even though we have sinned, we can have hope because God has promised to send a Redeemer. Genesis chapter 4 verse 1 to 26 tells the story of Cain and Abel, the first two sons of Adam and Eve. Cain was a farmer, and Abel was a shepherd. They each brought an offering to God, but Cain's offering was not accepted by God, while Abel's own was accepted. Cain became angry and killed Abel. The story of Cain and Abel is a tragic story, but it is also a story of hope. Even though Cain sinned against God, God did not abandon him. He allowed Cain to start a new life, and God protected Cain and promised to bless his descendants. The main themes of Genesis chapter 4 verse 1 to 26 are sin and its consequences, and hope of forgiveness of sin through Jesus Christ. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the continuation videos. We will continue from the Genesis chapter 5 in our next video.